So I just found out about a game called Architect Life, which is supposed to be like an architecture simulator type game. And I want to take a look at the reveal trailer with you guys and give my own critique. And this is from the point of view of someone that designs professionally. So I want to take a look at what they show us in this reveal trailer and see how much it compares to an actual simulator versus like a Sims game, for example. Right, so let's watch this here. I know this is going to come out for like Xbox and PlayStation, I think PC as well. All right, so first off, I just want to stop right there. The fact that it's showing the point of view of what seems to be an architect or a designer is actually a great start, because I don't think this is going to be like The Sims, where the point of the game is for you to just like it's almost like a secondary point where you're designing the house. The main focal point is to raise these Sims. I think that this game, just by this look, the look of this, it's going to be more about like the process of designing, which I'm very interested in. Now that right there, is that a, okay, that's an architect scale, which is great, because if it would have been an engineer scale, there's a difference. They look the same, but the numbers are different. This would have been bad already, but no. Okay, so we have the paper, we have them. That's the architect or the designer. Okay, this is interesting here. So it looks like the way that you're going to be designing is, this is from the point of view of the architect or the designer, it seems, because if you look at this background here, that's a mat, kind of like this that I have, but it's a cutting mat. So architects and designers, we use cutting mats to cut things with X-Acto blades, the wood or the chipboard, whatever we have to make these little models. So they gave the point of view of the designer, and you're basically making a massing model or a small conceptual model in this case. Now, the way that this works, I was curious to see if this was, because the programs that we use are similar to this, right? And there's very many programs that designers use, and they all work a bit differently. This one works, it seems that way, like more like Revit rather than SketchUp, where in SketchUp you draw things and push and pull out of thin air. This is like you pick pre-selected elements like a wall, for example, and then you draw the outline and it makes a 3D model. So far this is pretty interesting. Okay. Yeah, just like Revit. So in Revit, you do the same thing. You're basically dragging and dropping these elements and you make... Okay, so this is interesting. They're showing a time lapse of construction. So I wonder if once you do the design, it's going to actually show you what it would like to be constructing this house, which would be interesting if it would include like the means and method, how they actually build in real life, what gets laid down first, the foundation, what comes after the foundation, if you know there's waterproofing, the details of the actual architecture. I don't think it's going to get to that level, but it is a simulator, and architects, believe it or not, have to understand the detailing that goes into building a house. It's not just what it looks like, but it's how you build it. So I'm very curious to see if they're actually going to do that in this game. This is funny for those of you that use Revit. This happens a lot, where you lay down a floor and you forget to paint over it, and then it sticks out like this. I don't know. I just thought that was pretty funny. Okay, so in this view, what we're seeing is we're seeing like the designer kind of walking out of the room. Let's go back a little bit. We're seeing this architect making this model. They're putting the last piece. They're done. Now they're turning off the lights, and then you have a model made out of basswood or balsa, which is a material that we use to make little models like this as well. And then there you go. That's pretty much it. So is there anything else? No. Okay, so overall, I think this could be a really interesting game. So things like The Sims, I used to play that back in the day when I was much younger, and it was fun, but it never really inspired me to choose the path of architecture. So, you know, I like Legos and things, which is a lot of things that architects and designers say that inspired them to become architects and designers. That wasn't what inspired me to become a designer. So I really, like, when I played Sims, I didn't look at it from the point of view of modeling houses and things like this. But this game can potentially be something that inspires someone in the future to choose this career path. So I think it's interesting because from the looks of it, it's called Architect Life, a house design simulator. It actually looks like you are going to be a designer, and you're going to be basically designing houses from start to finish. Now, where could this game go, right? Is this going to be one of those kind of simulators where you design projects and then you sell them and you make money and you expand your business and whatnot? I don't think that's what this game is going to be like. I don't know too much about it. I tried to look online some information. I couldn't find much of anything except I read an interesting fact that said that you are going to be able to put equipment. I don't think it specified what kind of equipment, but I assume it means like electrical equipment, HVAC, so heating, ventilation, air conditioning, these kind of elements. So if that is something that you're going to be implementing into these houses, that's actually going to be really cool. I wonder how accurate this information will be. Like if you are able to put solar panels, which you must be able to do that, I wonder if it will be able to calculate basically how much energy you're saving and things like that. These are very important keys to have. And not only will it function as a game, but it could potentially function as something like a catalyst that would interest others to choose this career for the right reasons. If you look at my other videos, I have this big issue with the way that architecture school works because it really glorifies the design part and it really doesn't talk too much about the actual building and detailing. And that's a big chunk of what architecture is. So a lot of people go into architecture thinking that they're going to be designing houses from day one, and that's not how it works. You tend to spend most of your time actually creating the plans for these houses. So right here you see, they're showing that very nice little massing model. That's actually not even something that most firms do nowadays. Some firms, they have 3D printers and they're going that route. But the point is that it's not really how it's shown. So I'm just curious to see like how this game is going to implement, what's real versus what's not. I do appreciate the fact that they show the designer creating little models. What does that mean, right? Is it going to go like an actual phase where you start a design, you build the little model, and then from there you actually build it? And then what's the point, right? Like, is it going to be like Minecraft where you decide what you want to build? Like, what's going to be at stake is my question. Is it just going to be a sandbox type game where you just do whatever you want and try to make houses, like you set your own goals basically? Or are there going to be like somewhat achievements that can be made along the way that are dictated by the game itself, like mini quests, for example? As I briefly mentioned before about the solar panels and whatnot, I think it would be super interesting if this game allowed a very, very fine detail of what goes in the building. So if we're looking at electrical, we're looking at plumbing, we're looking at all the elements that make up a building, right? It's not only what it's made out of, right? It's also how it's put together. So you're looking at the studs. Is it going to be concrete? What type of concrete? Is it going to be poured concrete? Like these are all very important parts of architecture that are always missed in other similar types of games. So I'm curious to see like how detailed this game is going to be, and I hope for the sake of the game that it is very detailed and it is very very much a simulator as it's mentioning here. Like I think it would be really cool if you start out by maybe having to design a house in a cold climate, right? Or a house that's located in a seismic zone, so there's earthquake, and having to pick the right type. Like for example, if you're gonna do brick in a seismic zone, making sure that you're using the right type of anchors in the brick. Now, this kind of level of detail would be annoying for a casual player. Like if you're someone that came from Minecraft into this, like you wouldn't want it to be like so hardcore. But the fact that this is called Architect Life, a house design simulator, well, you need to simulate these things the same way that Microsoft Flight Simulator is pretty much a one-to-one replica of the experience of flying a plane. So when I read Architect Life, a house design simulator, I want this game to be one-to-one. What does one-to-one mean? Well, I'm going to take you through the whole process real quick, and I guess we could discuss what would be important and what would not. So first of all, right, how do you get a client? Right? Are you going to have to get clients in this game? Is that something that you're going to have to do? Are you going to have to put bids? Is your architect going to have a design profile? Meaning, as you start to design houses, are certain clients going to like it, going to hate it? Are you going to be able to develop your own style? Are certain clients going to reach out to you eventually based on the style that you've created? Is this going to have some sort of network where you can talk to other designers, other players, and basically communicate? I don't know. That could be a really cool, interesting thing that this game could have. Finally, when you land the actual project, are you going to have to make decisions based on budget? Is the client going to tell you, "Hey, I have $300,000," and then you have to design that based off of this, and then they're going to have certain, the client's going to ask you, "I want certain things that I want part of this house," and you as a designer are going to have to make certain decisions, and then the owner is going to evaluate your design based on how much of what was needed and what was wanted was implemented into the design. Is there going to be a level of back and forth between the game designer versus the owner? Like, are you going to present something and the owner is going to say, "I don't like that shape, I want something else," or "I don't like these windows here," and give you reasons why? I don't think that that's possible, but I'm just curious to see like how they're going to be able to do it. And it would be cool to get to that kind of level of detailing. Finally, when the design is accepted, are you going to make any sort of plans? Are you going to have to submit any documents, design, construction documents? I don't think this game is going to make you actually draft out the set, but it would be cool if somehow, based on your design, a set is auto-generated, and then from that auto-generated set, you give that to the contractor. Because I saw like a building time lapse, so maybe there are contractors that you can give the set to, and then the contractors don't understand certain parts. Like maybe those are like little mini games in the game that, and then these are called RFIs, where essentially the contractor's like, "Hey, I don't understand what this detail means. Can you give me some more example?" And then are you going to have to do any sort of construction administration? Like, are you going to have to review the project as it's getting built? And then after that, are you going to potentially get sued by the client because there's some water intrusion through the facade that you chose, or perhaps you were supposed to use a certain type of detail in a certain type of environment? Like I mentioned, winter, for example, a place that is very, like a very cold climate, and all of a sudden now the client is freezing to death because you didn't choose the right equipment, or you didn't choose the right exterior assembly. These are all like really cool things that, like, if I was to have a wish list of things that I wanted to have in a simulator game, these are all things that I would love to honestly have in a game. So fortunately, this is just a reveal trailer. I don't have any much more information about this game, but I'm just curious to see where they take this game. And I'm excited, actually. I'm very excited. Although I don't play these kind of games usually, and I can't picture myself after a long day of actually designing, wanting to sit down and play this. But I'm just curious to see what it's going to be like. So I think this could be a very powerful tool. It could be a game, but a tool, not only for up and coming designers, but also for designers in the professional field. Like maybe they can use this tool in real life to help them in real designs. Like I see so much potential in this. So I'm really excited about this. I can't wait for it to be released. And eventually when I get more information, if there's, as new trailers come out, or if there's ever a demo or something, my plan is going to be to take those, demonstrate it, talk over it as I am doing now, and if there's demos, I'll play them and I'll stream what I'm playing. But this is not a streaming channel, this is a design channel, but this is definitely within that realm. So I'm excited about it, and let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you guys are actual architects or designers watching this, or maybe you guys are not and you guys are just excited about trying out, like maybe you grew up playing Sims and now you want to play Sims on steroids over here. Like, let me know down in the comments what you guys think, and I'll see you guys soon.